And what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players and MLS podcast. Unbelievably, it is halfway point of the MLS season. I feel like it just started yesterday. I remember recording all of the not so deep dives, and I feel like that was 24 minutes ago. But instead, it was 2.5 months ago, and we are here at the mid-season point. So we're going to do a little recap show. We've got a couple of categories here. I'll run through them really quickly, and then we will jump into it. We've got the most surprising teams, the most shocking teams or disappointing teams, some breakout players, the biggest surprises of the season, the best winter signing, some bold predictions. We're going back to bold predictions, which are always a lot of fun. And then our midseason awards: Defensive Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, Coach of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, David Goss Theorem Player of the Year, our favorite category that Connor does not know what it means, but we'll get there. I know he's going to ask me about what it means again, so he can think about it as we go. And we've got the MVP, of course. Speaking of Connor, he's with me today. Connor, how are you?
I forgot we were doing David Goss Award, so I have to scramble and figure that out while we do the rest of the episode. So let's do that
let,
one last.
let,
I
let's
do know what
let,
it means, though. I
let's
listened
say
to your
let's rephrase that.
episode.
You have to figure out what it means before you can
No, no,
figure
no.
out who
I
it
know
is.
what it means now.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're learning. Well, if you don't know, and I'll give it to you, it is the player who was a signed at the summer of the season before. So in the summer window, had half a year in MLS, didn't really impress, but then broke out in their first full season. Okay. So for those of you who are new, if you didn't know that, you should have seen that in our MLS season preview video where we did all of our predictions. And if you don't, what are you doing? Make sure you go follow us so you can see when those get posted. It's on Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So go anywhere there and come follow us and hang out with us. Please, won't you? Connor,
Andrew.
got a scarf on your neck. What are you rocking? I
I
don't
didn't want to
like it.
reveal anything about my picks, so I wanted to bring out a scarf that maybe I hadn't shown before. I can't remember, but I've got myself a little DC United scarf. Is this a meet in the middle I see?
It might
Hello.
be. Way.
I don't know what it's. I think it says
It says black
black,
and red.
black and red.
Black and red. And I think that one is up here somewhere as well.
Maybe.
I can't find it, but what was really disappointing? I've got the one DC right there. And remember, I got it in a bag and I thought, oh, I've got one DC scarf. Great. Well, I opened the bag and there was a second one in there.
Oh yeah,
And
we definitely have it then, because that was the same for me too.
and I hate it and I'm really sad about it. And I wish I could burn them, but I can't because I need one from every team. And
Giveaway.
yeah, no giveaways, not unless they're duplicates. So I've got too much of a connection to my wall. Speaking of my wall, I've got a new scarf to show off today. In my quest for one for every team, look at this beautiful forest design. Look at the
Yeah,
logo.
it's a
It's
beaut.
the Minnesota United Enemies of the Pod scarf.
Enemies of the
Unfortunately,
pod, but they're great at making scarves.
unfortunately, they're not because what don't we have here? Yeah, no, we don't meet in the middle at all because what is wrong with Minnesota? I couldn't tell you.
They're not gonna let you meet them halfway. You gotta go all the way for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's literally just front and back, all the same. It's you know what? Enemies of the Pod doesn't meet in the front. Forest design not nearly as cool as Portland. It's a 0 out of 10. Let's be real. It's a 0 out of 10.
Wow. Wow. All right.
Yeah. You want to talk
Hey,
about hot takes? There's bold
Minnesota
predictions and hot
fans, hit
takes right
me
there.
up. I'll send you his address.
Oh man, listen, we've got a lot to cover here today. We can sit here and take a dump on Minnesota all day long, but instead, I want to start off with the most surprising teams in MLS this year. A couple of pretty good choices here. I want to see who you got. I'm almost thinking maybe we do one each and leave the rest for the fans to just yell at us. How could you leave this team out? Yeah?
Well, we're doing biggest overachieving, biggest underachieving.
No, no, just surprising. Teams that positively surprising. Positively surprising.
Well, I didn't have that one on my bingo card. I had biggest overachieving and biggest underachieving, but that's
Okay.
okay.
Well, let me put it this way.
Because you know
I
what? No, no,
label
no, wait. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm good on the fly. It's okay. I can make it work. Because you know what? I'll take the low-hanging fruit. The Vancouver Whitecaps have been the biggest, in my opinion, surprise for this season. I mean, they've been unbelievably good in the league, way better than they have been in the past, which is, a tip of the cap to maybe a certain somebody that we might talk about later, so I'm not going to spoil it. And not only that, but holy smokes, red hot in the CONCACAF Champions Cup too, in the final. Hello, where did this come from?
It's crazy because this is actually getting posted after the final game. So we might be talking about a potential CONCACAF Champions Cup winner in
That'd
Vancouver.
be insane.
Yeah. Especially with all the stuff going on behind the scenes. We should talk about what we want to do for that. Maybe we do something fun. I don't know. That was the easy answer, right? But I'm not going to use it because I want to be edgy. I want to be different. I want to be unique. I don't want to be
Yeah, that's
basic.
that's how he always is. He's
Yeah.
always been like this.
I thought about Philly. I thought about San Diego. But the
It's too
team that
easy.
yeah, they're too easy, right? Obviously, way too easy. But the team that I'll mention here, Nashville SC. BJ is at the wheel and he is taking them places Gary Smith could only dream
Excuse me,
of.
you're not allowed to give him credit. That's opening the door to the Euro snobs.
Bring it,
No.
because Gary Smith couldn't even. If you put Gary Smith's team in third place in the East, he would have needed an oxygen tank. He was up so high. What an achievement for BJ Callahan. He's got them playing really fun attacking football. Sam Sturridge is scoring goals for fun, and he's been doing this for the most part without Walker Zimmerman in the side. He's been hurt with that concussion, that nasty concussion. It's been really, really impressive to see him take this team to the upper echelons of the East. Hani Mukhtar looks like a player who is back in form, right? I think he's got 11 goal contributions so far this season through 16 games. I think I predicted him to have 7 last year, and he had 4 or something like that, something silly like that. And he jumps out and brings back the best out of Hani Mukhtar, makes this team fun again, and does it. Really, you gotta think. Gary Smith and BJ Callahan both took this team. BJ Callahan is getting the best out of Alex Muyl. And that in and of itself probably is enough to be coach of the year. And I'm not going to spoil that. But
And there's your Red Bull reference for this
there's
episode,
my
ladies
Alex
and
Muyl
gentlemen.
reference. We have not gotten to Red Bull reference yet. That's the Alex Muyl reference
He
of the year.
is he is the epitome of New York Red Bull. Anytime you
A-
mention him, you mention New York Red Bull.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Oh, man. Nashville SC, well done.
How
The
how
other,
dare how dare BJ give Hani Mukhtar help? Does he not realize that Hani has to do everything by himself? He is not allowed to do this.
do you know how many scouting meetings Gary Smith sat there and beat down anybody trying to say, hey, why don't you sign somebody? And you know what else he's doing? He's signing international players. Where are my MLS lifers? Get them back in the side right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Ridiculous.
Not enough
Ridiculous.
trades of international slots from Nashville. How are we
Yeah,
supposed to know what the market rate is if they're
they're
not trading
supposed
their
to set
international
the
slots?
market. No, they've been really, really solid. Eddie Tagsup looks like a really fun one to watch. The back line is still super strong, and they're attacking really, really well. So, well in Nashville SC. Again, the other teams you mentioned, Vancouver, Philly, San Diego, good for you too, but easy pickings. Another question that's got another easy answer. Let's see if you go with it. The most shocking or disappointing team this season.
Listen, the easy answer is the Galaxy, but that's not what I went with, okay? I went close to home, and I've gone for Atlanta United.
Way.
Listen, me personally, all right, I might be patting myself on the back here a little bit, but I knew this team was going to come in with defensive problems. All right, like that was a given. They were going to be an issue defensively. They did not do anything to reinforce a bad defensive team last year. In fact, they said, let's just run it back again. And shockingly, didn't work, especially when your goalkeeper now is hitting the wrong side of 40s. This is the first time that's been ever introduced to this podcast. Um, However, the biggest surprise has been the attack not clicking. I mean, you spent so much money to bring in all these big names and you finally loaded it up. And we talked all the time last year about how Atlanta was looking really good. They were cleaning up the bad contracts. They were in a situation with a lot of money and open DP slots, and they filled those positions, and the team has been anything but good to start this season. What I will say is it feels like maybe it's starting to click. The last couple games, they've looked a lot better on the attack. Defensive issues are still out there, 100%, but the attack is starting to look better. So maybe there's still some potential. And mind you, it's been what, 7 goals in the last 2 games? How many of those were scored by Latte Lath, their star striker? I think that's promising considering how little he's been involved, and they're still putting 7 goals up. So, yes, right now I think they're highly underachieving, but I think there's still potential to turn it around.
Yep, I had Atlanta on my short list. Galaxy are the easy answer, of course. I also had an honorable mention for St. Louis, who we spoke about a little bit last episode, with all the right pieces, but a coach who couldn't figure it out, and a front office who has them in shambles. The team that I went with maybe is more personal than anything else, and that's Charlotte FC, a team that I had winning the entire conference. But I don't have them here because of their record per se, but it's because of how they got here. This team was once the defensive pinnacle of MLS. I mean, they had the goalkeeper of the year. They had one of the youngest, most promising defenders. Somebody out there, I forget who, Eric Krakauer on Seeing Red said that Addison Malanda is pound for pound the best center back in the league. This team has conceded 27 goals so far in 16 games, third most in the East, joint third most, and the most of anybody in the playoff spots, by the way. It's an insane drop of form from that group. And lucky for them, Ajimang has stepped up a bit. Biel's performing in a level that can have him in consideration for the MVP. But otherwise, they might just be Atlanta, just sitting at the bottom of the table. Terrible defensive record, not clicking in the attack.
Shots
This
fired.
is, but you said it. I just, you opened the door. I just walked through it, right?
Only 5 points off from each other.
Yeah, I just walked through it. It is such a shocking turn from a team that we thought was just going to sit in, defend, and play in transition with like some of these really big star players. Like Zaha's been a disappointment. He looks like he's going to be Shaqiri 2.0 if he doesn't switch his mindset here in a little bit. Without BL and Ajimang and Abada's playing well too, but the other players that work in there are just not doing the job. So that has been a real shock to me.
Yeah, no, that's a fair one. I feel like considering they're not at the bottom of the table, they kind of like, they slip under the radar a little bit in terms of disappointing starts to the season. But
Yeah,
I
well, because
mean,
I
the
could sit
the
here and pick all the bottom of the table players. Like that's easy. I want to go. I gotta cut deep.
yeah, I mean, listen, the potential's there for them to turn it around. If the attack's doing well, you just gotta like get these guys to find their defensive form from last season, and now you're talking about a team that's surging. But I can't say I disagree with your choice there.
Somebody say bold prediction: Charlotte wins the East. What?
Whoa, spoilers for yourself?
Maybe. Stick around to find out. Let's move on then to breakout players. There are a couple in this section, and I don't know. I'll let you go first and see if I have to change any of my picks.
Oh, sure. Let me be the guinea pig, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my first one here might be a little bit debatable on if he qualifies or not.
Okay.
But my first breakout player here, I'm going with Mr. Jack McGlynn.
Ooh, okay. I
I
like it.
think I think he's not necessarily a no name, right? Like he started to build a name for himself in Philly, but I think his move to Houston has really solidified him as a star of the team and really making a name for himself more nationally instead of just on Philly and for the sickos. So this is a good opportunity for him to kind of like, here's the keys, you're in charge now. Because I don't necessarily think that was the case in Philly. Like there's other stars that kind of, have a portion of the key. You had Gazdag, you had Ure, you had Kai Wagner, like other people involved. I feel like with Houston, he's the guy. Or at least it feels that way this season. So he's my player number one. Do you want me to just go through all
No, let's
three
go.
or
Let's go one on one. Let's go one on
all
one. But
right?
I do have to say,
Go for
pretty
it.
bold of you to assume moving from Philly to Houston is putting you on the international map. I don't think any, and you say the sickos are watching Philly. Yeah, because the sickos aren't watching Houston. Yeah, sure.
No, they're not watching Houston. I'll say that much. But
I'm gonna go out west. We've done a lot of Eastern Conference stuff. You went out west. I'll go out west as well. I'm going to shout out the son of our Lord and Savior. Triple G walks so Seb Berhalter can run, and he's been one of the most solid central midfielders, not only in MLS, but in CONCACAF right now. He has run the show for Vancouver, not just in league play, but in CONCACAF Champions Cup, putting in solid performance after solid performance to get them all the way up to the final match that just happened this weekend. How will it end? We don't know, but we'll have to find out. This guy has been so solid, and the mark of a good central midfielder to me is somebody that you don't actually notice being really good. right? He stands out and does his job, but you're not looking at him like a, old school Diego Chara or new school like Carlos Gil, right? He just does his job. He keeps it simple. He'll contribute in the attack, he'll contribute in the defense, but he's not just blowing up in terms of stats, right? He's just doing the job. And I think it's a very, very, very well earned USMNT call up for him. And I hope he gets some game time. Would love to see him ball out here.
Berhalter will always
Never.
linger in the US 17 picture.
Seb better have a kid ASAP because he can't play for 45 years until the next one comes around. So
He'll just go straight into being a manager. That's all. No big deal.
direct
Buy
the
some time
pipeline,
for
the
him to have a kid.
pipeline of either Bradley or Berhalter being a part of the team is a straight line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Michael Bradley, Seb Berhalter's buying you some time here, all right? It's time to, have a kid, train them up, get them involved in the team.
Or
Either
get
that or
him.
you have to take over as coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me some of that.
I mean, these are the only options here. Like,
I agree. I agree.
our hands are tied. What do
Yeah,
you want us to
listen, I,
do?
I don't make the rules. I just follow them.
Yeah.
What do you
Um,
got next?
well, speaking of rules, I will follow the rules and bring my next breakout player here.
Nice.
I'm listen, I'm all for going for the low fruit. All right, I'm a lazy person. All right, so I'm picking another low hanging fruit here. Give me some Alex Freeman from Orlando City. I mean, really burst that. Talk about bursting onto the scene. This is like you listen. I'm flipping open. This is my dictionary right here. All right, I'm flipping open my dictionary and wow, would you look at that? I found the definition of breakout player. There's a picture of Alex Freeman right there.
You shouldn't have
That's
turned.
how
The
his
the,
season has
the
been.
people on YouTube are gonna see that. I'll
Well,
edit in. I'll edit in a picture. I'll just put it right in there.
yeah, you should. I'll just hold up the book and you could just put a picture of him right there. But yeah, he has been the like you came into the season and unless you were a probably sicko Orlando City fan, had no idea this guy was going to burst onto the scene. You probably didn't even know he was going to get game time. And yet he has, and not only has he got game time, he's done insanely well with the game time, enough to also follow in the Berhalter footsteps and get a call up. So absolutely broke the heck out this season so far.
Yep, and I will say that he was on my list as well, mainly because Loud and Proud Orlando mentioned him as their player to watch. They called it,
Oh, see,
and
there
they
you go. There's your
knocked it
Orlando
out of the
sicko right
park.
there.
They knocked it out of the park. Another very good USMNT call up. Excited to see him play as well. My last one, and maybe you match me here and we move on. If you knew ball, you would. But I got to give a shout out to Ty Baribo, right? I think that we expected him to be in the conversation of being a solid MLS striker, right? He had a hot run in 24. Like we figured he'd come in, he'd be relatively solid. Questionable on how he would do with the new coach and the new system. I don't think anybody pegged him as being 3 goals clear at the top of the Golden Boot ladder halfway through the season, right? And again, that's a host of a whole bunch of things, but he's finishing his chances when they're given to him. So I'll give him a shout out as well.
I mean, I don't want to say anything because he may or may not be my David Goss pick.
Whoa! Spoilers.
I'm just kidding. He wouldn't even qualify.
That's nice. I know.
My third pick, I've gone for Marco Pasalic.
Nice. He was on
I
my
hate
short
that
list.
I doubled down on Orlando players here, and you know
You
what?
did.
It's a shame. I will take a healthy shower afterwards so I can
Yeah.
cleanse myself. But that's another name that I genuinely like. I honestly, while you're doing your pick, I may look up our PowerPoint presentation because I'm very curious to see what grade I gave this move. I can't imagine it was above like a C plus, and he has been way above a C plus player so far this season. He has been excellent for Orlando, a huge part of that attack with Ojeda and Muriel, and a big reason why they're one of the best attacking teams in the league right now. So he's definitely gone above and beyond what my expectations were for him. I guess that I don't so far, I mean, we're halfway through the season. He's on pace for a breakout season in his career, so I guess that would kind of count in that sense. But if it were to end right now, I ne don't necessarily think it would count as breakout for his career, but I'm still including him anyway because why not? Because I make the rules.
Best winter. Oh, I'm sorry, not best winter. Biggest surprise.
My biggest surprise, the LA Galaxy. I'm going for a negative surprise. And surprises don't always have to be happy. Like maybe we should talk, maybe we should just transition into we should talk about that, right? I think there's this mantra that surprises always have to be a good thing, like birthday surprises and like, oh, I'm surprising you with your favorite meal. I brought it back home for you. But it
Long
doesn't always
Island
have to be
bagels?
a
Hell
happy
yeah.
surprise. Listen, I'm not bringing you Long Island bagels.
Oh, so you
You'd have
hate
to
me.
come back for that.
Okay, you hate me. I get it.
All right, I'm done with this. I'm done with this off-topic transition thing, whatever. Yeah, the LA Galaxy. I'm surprised at how awful they've been this season. I mean, listen, to some extent, I could see this coming, right? Because like the way they built this roster was absolutely fully in win now mode. And your issue is that you lost your most key win now players. And what did that leave you with? An absolute mess of a roster to try to get things out of this team. However, to see the former champions go winless in 16 games with 4 points and a negative 23 goal difference is insane. In no way, shape, or form would I've ever predicted a Galaxy season like this. I mean, I think both of us predicted some Galaxy fall off this season. We didn't think they were going to be like challenging at the top of the West this year, but for them to fall off to this level was absolutely a huge surprise.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's low-hanging fruit, but I think it's fair.
That's what I told you. Listen, I'm short. I need to take low-hanging fruit.
You are short. I will give you that. The bigger surprise off of your surprise is how dependent they were on one player. One player goes out, and after they cheat their way to MLS Cup, because we know they didn't win it fairly. Sorry. They come into a season again, I should say dependent on two players, right? Joveljic and Ricky Puig, but they replaced one of them with Christian Ramirez, but they just have not figured it out. They had a goalkeeping nightmare this entire season. They've been awful. Carlos Garces. Remember when we were talking about Carlos Garces being the absolute guy, and I'm pretty sure he's my defensive player of the year pick, by the way. So that's going to look really good. Um,
Oh, don't worry. I'm right in the same boat with you. I said Peck was going to break the transfer record this
yeah.
summer.
Did you see the goal that they conceded to lose the game? Yeah, lose the game against San Diego.
I didn't. I saw
I
they
think I
lost it super late though.
Yeah. So the ball gets. I don't know if this was the game the goal that they conceded to lose the game, and I will look it up just to be sure. Um, the ball gets floated in over the top, and it's just going right to Garces. And instead of taking it down or heading it or chesting it and clearing it, he tries to volley it straight out of the air, swings and misses completely, puts Lozano in straight on goal, and they score and they lose the game. Like it's storybook stuff. How they just have capitulated from where they were to where they are is insane to me. My biggest
I mean,
surprise here.
that play sums up their season pretty well.
It does because it's just those are not things that you coach or teach. Those are just like boneheaded mistakes from teams that are down so bad and they would just do anything to get a couple points. And they're just not thinking, they're not playing the game. It's a mentality thing, which again, a surprise on a surprise on a surprise. Greg Vanney coming back? Are we kidding? Anyways,
Contract
um,
extension.
yeah, because my biggest surprise is actually a flip on that idea, and it's the fact that in general how quickly coaches have been let go this year. Usually, you see it right around this time. It's okay, we're getting to the halfway point. We're not in the picture. We probably should be pushing it, right? Montreal let theirs go after five, SKC after like 7 or 8, and Melberg after 15 in total, right? And that's where I'm emphasizing that because usually the 15 games are for people who have been in charge for a year or 2 or 3 years, not 15 games in their first season, right? Teams are moving on much, much quicker from coaches than ever before. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? I don't know what the point is, especially like this, to not give them a chance, right? Peter Vermees, I get. Peter Vermees had 25 chances and did well with some of them, didn't do so well with others. Montreal, I don't quite get, right? I don't quite get the Montreal one because he was doing okay. I don't quite get that one, right? And Melberg, we already spoke about that on Monday. Go check that out if you haven't. Didn't make sense to me either, right? So I'm not sure if owners are buying into this online like there are no consequences, and everybody's like, yes, there are. Coaches get fired, and they're like, oh, boop, yep, consequence, proving it. Nope, not for me. So that's I'm just kind of shocked that it's been that quick. I don't know, and I don't know if it's the right way or not. So we'll see.
Well, listen, I'm going to be absolutely shocked at your best winter signing. That's my prediction.
Nice, good transition.
Yeah.
Are you telling me to give it to you right now?
Yeah, right now.
Right now?
Best winter signing right now.
This might be cheap because everybody on this team is a winter signing. But Andres Dreyer is a dude. And last time I used that, Carlos Garces turned into me playing center back in Sunday League. So sorry if that's the curse that I just put on Andres Dreyer. But he's come in, and even with Chucky Lozano injured for as long as he has been, tossed the team on his back. He's got 12 goal contributions, 6 goals, 6 assists to start the year, and San Diego's flying. So give me Andres Dreyer as the best winter signing so far, with an honorable mention to Marco Pasalic, because I was deciding between the two. I felt like we didn't give enough love to the Western Conference in this, so there you go, Western Conference friends.
You know what? I will say it. That was cheap. You can't pick a team that the whole team is a winter signing. Whatever.
I
Anyway.
definitely can, and I did, and you're going to deal with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's nothing I could do with it, and unless I just alter the footage. But that's a whole nother story. But my pick is going to be Kevin Denke for FC Cincinnati.
Okay.
He has the big price tag. He had a lot of pressure. He's coming into the new league, and I don't think he's missed a beat. He's got 9 goals and 14 starts. He's significantly gone over his XG, so he's been clinical. And I think he's been off to a great start for FCC, and it's continuing this trend of FCC being able to find good talent overseas or
Yeah,
bring in good talent, period.
yeah. And he was a record signing at one point too, until who displaced him?
Mr. Emmanuel,
Oh, that's right. And how's he doing?
he's doing okay. He could be doing
Yeah,
better, but he's not doing terrible.
he's not doing $22 million worth of work, that's for sure. Oh man. Well, let's put some bold predictions out there then while we make fun of Connor's Atlanta, as I'm what 3 points clear of you. Is that right? Yeah. Give me one. I've got two of them. So I think that's what we did last time is we did
Two of
two.
them. Oh,
Yeah.
I only got one for you.
That's all right. You can do one. You want me to go first then? So we go me,
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
me?
you go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. We've given some love to the Western Conference, and we don't have enough enemies from the West. Vancouver Whitecaps are going to fall off the pace of the
Minnesota's
support.
quite literally from the West.
No, I said we don't have enough. We only have the one team. We need more.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry,
Yes.
I interrupted you. Please go
Yes, you
ahead.
did. The Vancouver Whitecaps are going to fall off the pace of the Supporter Shield, and they will finish outside the top four. There's just no way they keep this up. I'm not buying it. I'm just not doing it.
Okay,
That
okay.
is that is bold
Vancouver
prediction
hater.
number one. And I will tell you,
Banned from Canada.
I believe that's all right. Who wants Canada free healthcare? No, thanks. I'd like to work for my minimal healthcare coverage. Thank you. I want to say I think I got both of my bold predictions right mid year last year. So I've got some. I got to go bolder. I think is what it is.
I'm looking at mine now, and I don't think I like it.
You got to get it's there. You either give it or
It's
you change it now.
I can give it. I just think it's a little too easy.
All right. Well, then do that. And while I give my second one, you can think of another one.
All right, fine. My first bold prediction is that the LA Galaxy will finish with the lowest points total in MLS history this season.
Ooh, that's actually that's not crazy.
I
Or I
mean,
mean,
listen,
I'm sorry. That I think that is like crazy enough because I think they're only 5 points off of that.
well, I guess if it's halfway through the season, they only got 4. The worst is what, 20 from FCC?
No, was it
So,
20? 14. Sorry, Tampa Bay Mutiny 14, not 9.
uh,
So they need 3 wins and a draw, and they are getting eventually Ricky Pooch back.
okay, well then that's more bold than I thought it
That
was
is,
because
yeah,
I
it's
thought it
bolder
was
than you thought.
20, and I'm like, they're way off the pace of that.
No, I'll tell you, I originally was gonna put LA Galaxy make the playoffs, and then I did the math, and I was like, they literally can't lose another game.
Yeah,
Like to
I
hit
mean,
the average. I think the average is 43 points. They can't lose another game.
oh my
And even
God,
then, I think they're already out.
that's insane.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, like mathematically, they won't be, but I think the average to hit is 43 to get to 9. And that's crazy.
Safe to say they're not hitting that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, so that's bolder than I thought, but
I
I'll
like it.
stick with it because why not? The
Yeah, I
Galaxy are going to
like it.
finish with the lowest points total in MLS history.
You never know. They still need to win. Then they need
That's
to do it
true.
3 more times, 4 more times, really. My second one, we haven't talked about Red Bull enough. I told you I was going to get a Red Bull mention in here. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting is going to finish the season with at least 20 goals, and he will become
Oh,
Red Bull's
20?
Red Bull's first 20 goal scorer since BWP in 2018. He's
I would
on nine.
hate that.
He's
I
on
would
9 right
hate that.
now.
I know, and I already hate it.
It's I'm a big fan of it. I think it's a great poll,
It's
personally.
exposing our league for being weak.
Week. I can't believe we scored 4 goals last Wednesday, all from strikers. You know, last time we had a striker score a goal, period, before Choupo-Moting, it was like
Okay, wait, hold on a
2012.
sec. Hold on a sec. We need to have a discussion. All right. What's your claim every time we talk about Yosef's goal scoring? What's your claim?
So, anyways, moving on to our minutes.
You fraud, you don't mute me. What's your claim every time we talk about Yosef's goal scoring?
Don't worry about it,
You call him Josef Martinez because of all the penalties you think he scored. Four of his 9 goals are penalties this season. He is the
including a
definition
brace
of
on
pen
Wednesday,
merchant.
including a
Huh?
brace of pens on Wednesday. He scored both
There you
penalties against
go.
Charlotte.
Pen merchant.
And you know what?
He may still hit 20, but that's only because he's scoring penalties.
And you know what? I deserve this. I deserve this. I haven't had this. You know, I watched our top goal scorer in 2021, Patrick Klimala, with 8. I watched a team where a striker scored 8 goals. I deserve this.
Your striker
You
last season scored like 2.
like I said, I deserve this. I don't need this from you, okay? So I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to enjoy it, and you can cry.
I'm not crying. I'm just, I'm serving you a dish of what you've been serving me for years.
Yeah, but you deserve that. I deserve this, right? There are levels to this. Let's jump into the midseason prediction or midseason awards. I'd like to get this done relatively quickly because I don't think there's going to be too much arguing like you just did here with the bold
Well, it could be. You
predictions.
never know. You never know.
Let's start in the back. Let's start with goalkeeper of the year.
This is like through the midway point, right? This isn't a
Yes, up
prediction
just
for the
up
end
to
of the
now.
year.
If you had to give it right now, who are you giving it to?
Carlos Cornell.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah.
He's been great this
He
season.
has been, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, he's your number one leader in PSXG plus
I mean,
minus.
that's
I
all
mean,
you need. This should be
that's
the
the only stat I
PSXG plus
need.
minus stat.
Yeah.
100%. I don't disagree with you. Now,
One CD.
I was not allowed to pick this because I would not hear the Red Bull, the anti Red Bull bias, whatever. I wasn't going to hear it. So I went with our boy Dwayne. Dane Sinclair leading the league in clean sheets right now, 7th in PSXG plus minus. I think it's a good enough resume for him to be there. And the reason I didn't pick Cornell, and this is genuinely why, standings. His performances have not led to his team being better than they are. Let me rephrase that.
How much do they factor that in for like goalkeeper of the year though?
Let me phrase that. Let me rephrase that. His performances have absolutely kept us in games and won us points and such. But if we finish in the play-in game, he's not winning goalkeeper of the year. I don't. I would feel bad about that, even though he was. Put it this way: Matt Freese, who should have been at the very least in the conversation last year, finishing 5th, didn't even get a nod. I don't
Yeah.
think you can look at and right or wrong, right? I think we both agree that was terribly wrong. I think Carlos Cornell has been a top 3 goalkeeper this year, no doubt, no doubt. But I don't see him winning it because of where Red Bull are in the standings. We're not performing well, and nobody's looking at it saying this goalkeeper performed so well that his team finished in 7th. Right? As much as I'd love it to be, because he's been really good. I'm not going to say he's been exceptional because he has his moments where he's not been very good. New York City is the big example, right? He saves us in game after game after game, and then when he's trying to play out of the back, he misses the ball and they score a tap in, right? Again, very very small sample size, but I don't think that would keep him out or put. I don't think that would help him in the goalkeeper of the year conversation. Moving on then to defensive player of the year. Thank you for the Red Bull shot, by the way. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. That's your last one.
Yeah, I think it's my last one too, to be honest with you. So I'll find a way to slide one in there. Defensive player of the year. Tell me why it's Omar Valencia. There you go.
Yeah, you wish. Because he helps my fantasy team, Omar Valencia.
Yeah, Omar and Alex Freeman. Go, 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 go.
I'm gonna go for another fantasy merchant. Kai Wagner. I think Kai Wagner has been unbelievably good this year. I mean, especially, listen, I know they're gonna not necessarily rate the attacking part of the Defensive Player of the Year award, but he has been unbelievably good on the attack this year. I think he's got 1 goal and 7 assists already. And honestly, his defensive numbers looked pretty good too. I mean, he was rated pretty high percentile in a few defensive metrics. His team's in first place I mean, I know this is because of the attacking actions, but across the board, he's the highest rated defensive player across like multiple sites. He's almost one of the highest rated players, period. Like I think he's had an exceptional year from everything that it's looked like. What I will say as an honorable mention, if I wasn't going to go for a fullback, and I hated myself for saying this because I don't even know if it would be true or not, but I feel like Tristan Blackman would be in this conversation, considering how good Vancouver's been and he's been playing like almost every minute for them. I think he'd be in the conversation.
Put her there, big guy.
Oh no, did you pick
Tristan
him?
Blackman, Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, sir. Vancouver, on their way to the top of the Supporter Shield standings, has been led by the stalwart defensive capabilities of Tristan Blackman. Only 12 goals against this season, combining the fact that he has played very well in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, leading them to the final game, and perhaps when you're listening to this, championship. He has been really, really good. Also knotted in 3 goals himself, which when it comes from a center back, it matters. For whatever reason, when it comes from an outside back, attacking contributions, useless. But when a center back does it, MLS is like, yep, yep, that's the guy. That's the guy. Which is bonkers to me, by the way, because if Kai Wagner repeats whatever his stats are and he ends the season with like 2 or 3 goals and like 15 assists, and he doesn't get put as Defensive Player of the Year, that'd be so criminal.
That'd be
Um,
insane.
but again, these are the sorts of players that you're looking towards the top of the table. Good defensive standings, right? The 12 goals against that Vancouver have conceded, and I just want to get these numbers right for you just to be sure. I believe they're clear of any team close to them. New England's got 14. Okay, cool. And even Austin has more than that. We were talking about how good Austin has been defensively, right? Yeah, they're clear. Minnesota also has 14, right? Up Big Dwayne. But for the teams that I don't want to say teams that matter, that's kind of mean, but the teams that are up there in this conversation, 12 goals against, again, 24 goals conceded is good for 7th all time in MLS. And that number was from COVID. So that would be insane if they could get there, right? RSL had 20 in 2010. Houston had 23 in 2007. And I thought Philly also had a really good run of it at some point, maybe like a 26 goal, something like that. That would be on pace for a record setting year, and he would be a part of it. You could tell me Rezno Veselinovic. Sorry. Um,
What
one of
did you
those
just
dudes.
say?
Veselinovic. Ranko. I forget his first name. You could tell me that he's a part of it too, but I think the goals that Tristan Blackman are scoring is going to be what sets him apart. Which again, insane. Let's move on then to the sideline. Talk about Coach of the Year. I think you and I might have the same one here.
Is it Sorensen from Vancouver?
It might be. Is that your pick?
It was my pick, but if you also had it, maybe we should give a little bit of love to Bradley Carnell over in Philly.
You can. I will never give love to a Red Bull deserter to an enemy
Wow.
team.
Wow.
You're
I
right.
went Sorensen.
Yep. Carnell, yeah, Carnell deserves credit too, right? I mean, what he's done with Philly, who didn't sign anybody, went in and took over a team, basically changed the entire system, and made it work to a point where they're leading the Eastern Conference halfway through. Yeah, he deserves some credit there, but I think Jesper Sorensen deserves more because they took a team that literally everybody expected to be in the wooden spoon, you included. Don't fact check that.
I don't think I
Uh,
said that.
don't fact check that. Not only did he lead them to the top of the Supporter Shield standings, but also to a Champions Cup final, and again, possibly a championship. This is a team that barely was winning Canadian championships a couple years ago, right? I don't think it's any question, regardless of whether he wins this weekend or this past weekend or not. I think, and again, as long as he holds this form, if my bold prediction comes true and he falls into 6th, it's a different story. But right now,
Hmm.
yeah, he's the best coach at the halfway point.
Well said.
Thanks, man. I practiced it. Newcomer of the year. What do you got?
Doubling down. Give me Sir Kevin Denke.
Yeah, I
Best
think
winter
this.
signing. I'm sticking down on best newcomer.
Yeah, I've got the same thing. I've given mine to Andres Dreyer with an honorable mention to Pasalic because, again, doing what he did for an expansion team in an area that is heavily soccer focused with what should have been a very good LA Galaxy team and what is a very good LAFC team to step in and to be what could be argued the best attacker in that group of three teams is very impressive. So double down there. Now, no pressure. David Goss Theorem Player of the Year. I hope you figure this one out. What do you got?
Are you saying I can't go Marcel Hartel again?
Oh man, I know you. I know how badly you want it, but if you picked the David Goss Player Theorem of the Year for a team that should be in the wooden spoon conversation, I would judge you a little hard for that.
Oh, you know what? I misunderstood how we were picking this.
Oh
I
my
thought we were picking
lord!
I thought we were picking a guy that's gonna like we would reassess at the end of the year. I didn't think you were
You,
oh, we're gonna pick a guy that's done well so far this season.
how have you messed
You
this up
should do
twice?
you should do yours
You
first while
messed
I
it up
fix
in the
mine.
actual predictions, and you messed it up here. I can't wait to leave this in. I'll go first. The answer is Pep Biel. Dude had an okay half year in Charlotte last season. He gets brought back on loan again and is playing at a level that could be considered the MVP level for Charlotte. Right? We talked about this a little bit earlier in the episode, and that Charlotte team is really bang average. If you don't have Pep Biel in that team, that Charlotte team is Atlanta, as we mentioned before. 11 goal contributions in 16 games, really solid. He's doing a lot of good work off the ball. I don't really know anybody else who comes close in this conversation right now, but I'd be happy to hear what you think.
Yeah, I also had Pep Biel on my
Oh, no
list.
way!
Yeah, I mean he's been a revelation for Charlotte over there.
Oh,
I mean a real game changer for them.
what a
You
great
know,
word.
he's keeping them in it while the defense is really letting them down. I mean, huge year for Pep Biel, Pep Bile, Pep Guardiola,
Pepe, Ricardo Pepe back in
Ricardo
action.
Pepe. That's my pick.
All right, give me your MVP pick because I'm tired of this.
I've gone for Ty Baribo.
I like it.
I
This
mean,
was, yeah.
clearing away top goal scorer, teams in first place in the East. Felt like pretty clear cut to me, in my opinion.
I stayed away from that because last year I picked Chicho Aranjo and he fell off a cliff
Yeah,
and got
that
shipped
didn't
off
pan
to.
out. You gave him the curse.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. If I'm going to curse somebody, it's got to be in the Eastern Conference so Red Bull can climb a table, right? I don't want to curse anybody out in the West. I don't give a damn. Who cares, right? So Evander, welcome to the podcast curse
Oh
list.
no, how could you do
Uh,
that? FCC, man,
FCC in
shield
the
your ears.
mud. The reason I picked him over some other players is he's come into a brand new team, right? Team that he's never played for before in a different conference, and he's picked up right where he left off in Portland. 11 goal contributions in 16 games, keeping FCC at the top of the Eastern Conference, right? Messi has also 11 goal contributions in 16 games and in less minutes, but his team hasn't had the results to warrant the MVP like he did last year, right? So when Messi was in this conversation last year, it was like, oh, he's only played 450 minutes, but he scored 11 goals. So, okay, the fact that he's done that and Miami are where they are, I think is really important. The fact that Miami has now fallen off in the games that he's played, I think he's lost him into like as he's played has lost like 3 or 4 games. So he's clearly not at the level anymore. He's washed, as the kids say. I'm just kidding. Don't cancel me. But obviously, right, the impact is a little bit less because he's not helping that team out as much in terms of other players playing up to his level like he did with Robert Taylor last year, right? Show up and Robert Taylor turns into prime Iniesta, whatever. Hasn't done that this year. All right. That was a lot. The
That was a
breakdown
lot.
is done. The MLS midseason recap show is finished. Make sure you let us know who we missed. Team, player, anything like that. Let us know what your bold predictions are. Give us some feedback. Let us know. If you aren't following us anywhere, make sure you are so you can interact with us. It's Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and follow us wherever you get your podcast. Leave a little rating and have some fun with it. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players and MLS Podcast. See ya.